Hi everyone, welcome back. This week in Level F, we're going to be covering lessons 65 through 68, and you'll need worksheets 53 through 56, a geoboard with rubber bands, the 45-degree triangle, the 4-in-1 ruler, the Casio calculator, tangrams, the math card games book, and your basic number cards and your multiplication cards. In lesson 65, we will be working on area as the number of square units in a figure. So after the warm-up questions, which focus on the definitions of various figures, your child will be working with worksheet 53 and the geoboard. Go ahead and let's take a look at what is happening in problem number 1.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read the problem to you on worksheet 53. It says to find the area of each parallelogram. Then divide each parallelogram in half by drawing a line from the upper left vertex to the opposite vertex. Find the area of the resulting triangle and fill in the table and check your answers using Pick's theorem. Okay, so the very first thing we want to do is have your child create the first figure that they saw on that worksheet, which of course is right here. And we can figure out the width and the height and the area of this parallelogram. So the width is 2 units, the height is 2 units. So 2 times 2 is 4, and that's confirmed by counting those squares. There are 4 squares, therefore the area is 4 units. Now they say to draw a line, and of course that's on the worksheet. For this, we will just be using a rubber band to divide the parallelogram in half. And so how can we figure out what the area of the triangle is? By counting squares, right? So there's 1 whole square and 2 half squares. So the area of the triangle will be 2, which of course your child knew because 4 divided by 2 or 4 divided in half gives you the answer of 2, but it's confirmed by counting those squares. Now, what does Pick's theorem say for the area of the triangle? Remember, in Pick's theorem, you cover up a pair, boundary pair, and you figure out how many other boundary pairs there are. There's 1, 2. So the area of this triangle based on Pick's theorem is also 2.
All right, go ahead and have your child continue with problems 2 through 5 using the geoboard to model the problems. Remember that figures are read from left to right and top to bottom. So the smaller square on the top left is number 1, that's the one we just did, and the larger parallelogram on the bottom right is number 5. Problems 6 through 9 and 10 through 13 skip creating the parallelogram and just have the child visualize it. Then go right on to making a triangle and figuring out the area. Go ahead and have your child complete the worksheet and discuss the solutions. Ask the in-conclusion questions and play Ring Around the Products, which is game P32 in the Math Card Games book, and we do have a video or blog about it on our website. In lesson 66, we will be introducing and using formulas. There is a correction to worksheet 54, so please follow the link and make the correction before continuing with this lesson if your book was printed before April 18th of 2018. After the oral warm-up questions, you'll draw a rectangle and label the sides as shown in the lesson book. This process leads your child to create the formula for the area of a rectangle. On the top of the next page, your child is asked to write the formula for finding the perimeter of a rectangle. After your child has written one formula, you can either ask for others or just show the other possibilities. It doesn't matter which one they choose. All of them work fine, but it's good to know that they exist in different formats in case they see them on a problem. They need to know that that's how it can be written. So for the first problem on the worksheet, have your child discuss why some of the answers are correct and some are not. Have your child complete the worksheet and answer the in-conclusion questions. You can play Find the Products, which is P33 in the Math Card Games book. In lesson 67, there are 2 corrections, one in the lesson book and one in the workbook. If your books were printed before January 7th of 2019, please follow the link in the description to the correction page and make those corrections before you start this lesson. In this lesson, we're going to draw the heights of triangles from different widths. and measure and find the area of those triangles. The warm-up questions discuss vertices, acute, obtuse, and right angles. Before working on the worksheet, draw an acute triangle and show how you can find the height 3 different ways. Let's take a look at what that will look like.
Okay, here I have drawn an acute triangle like they have in the book. And I can, if I'm using this line here as the width, I could find the height like this. That would be one way. I could also use this line over here as the width, and then I would be finding the height going this direction. And then I could also use this line as the width and find the height going in this direction. Notice how, I didn't draw it perfectly, but notice how the 3 lines meet in this center. They should be actually crossing each other in the center.
Okay, so now you're ready to move on to the worksheet. For problem number 1, your child may want to use colored pencils or highlighters to indicate which height goes with which width on each triangle. In problem number 2, only one height is drawn for each triangle. So the 3 that I just showed you how to draw, those are just spread out over 3 different triangles. Notice in problem 3, the sides are extended beyond 2 of the triangles so that the height can actually be measured outside of the triangle. This is really good for your student to know that that's a possibility. You can go ahead and ask the in conclusion questions and play Find the Products game again. In lesson 68, we will solve triangle area problems. After the oral warm-ups, which are problems about formulas, have your child read the first problem on the worksheet and guess which interior area is larger. Remember that the interior figure that is formed with these tangrams is just the empty space created by those tangrams. You don't have to find a tangram piece that fits into that area. Notice when creating the square, 2 medium and 4 small triangles are used. And when creating the triangle, 3 large triangles are used. Have your child complete the problem and determine if the guess was correct. For problem 2, if you're having trouble seeing the black line that indicates that 2 triangles are being used, I always have a problem seeing that if it's on the darker triangles. You can always measure the pieces and compare them to the answers to see which pieces were being used to complete the figure. All right, then have your child complete problems 3 and 4 and discuss the answers. You can ask the in conclusion questions and then play Multiply and Add, which is game P34 in the Math Card Games book. And then that's it for this week. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.